All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Good morning. Good morning. We have some stuff to talk about today. So, first off, obviously, we are in the midst of our Discover Secret summer promotion. Yay. So, $29, remember, for agents to get started with this incredible secret hair care bonus gift with a $100 purchase or more. Number one. Number two is we've got our Share Secret promo where when you help 3 new Discover Secret agents get their first customer, you get that $150 bonus. 5 for 300, 10 for 600, and 15 for 1,000 with tracker up in the back office. Okay. Yesterday, we talked about our Secret 7 daily activities for massive success. All right. And just to reiterate, because there's something that we want to be looking at, focusing on a daily basis. Number one, be a product of your product. Obvious. Number two, learn. You want to get trained, sharpen your skills. You're here, so that this could count as your second of the 7. Number two, connect with 2 new people a day. Connect, reach out, communicate, start a conversation, and start seeing where that leads. Start developing those relationships. Number 4, post on your social media. Start building your brand. Number 5, engage, interact, create those closer relationships with the people. And also, just in interact, one of the things that is great is not just interacting with the posts that you make, but also with other people's posts is comment. So many times it's easier just to kind of scroll, and it only takes a second just to hit a like, leave a comment, hit a like, leave a comment, hit a like, leave a comment. So engage, be involved in the conversations that are out there. Number 6, grow. Read and or listen and to your personal development. And number 7, plan your day before you start your day. So these are our Secret 7. So yesterday we talked about them. How'd you do? Did you do good? Did you do good? Did you do them? So this is one of those things where we hearing a lot of training, and one of the things is transitioning from hearing information to implementing information. And I want to talk a little bit about that today because I think it's an important topic for all of us, including myself. And one of the reasons why I love training is because it keeps me sharp, because it reminds me even of the things that I need to be focused on, I need to be doing. And a big part of the difference between hearing something and knowing something is the difference between learning and doing. And that's one of the, I think, the biggest gaps in human potential, where people really believe because they've heard something, they know it. And unfortunately, that is not the case. And I'll give you a good example. I have heard the language of Spanish a lot in my life. But because I've heard people speak Spanish, does that mean I know Spanish or I know how to speak Spanish? And of course, obviously, the answer is no. Hearing something does not mean knowing. Hearing something means heard something. Knowing something means that you can do it. And do it is really when you can start teaching it. And I learned this really from my experience through dance, where so many times where I might have taken a class and I just didn't remember it. And I thought, I was like, oh yeah, I know those steps. I know that routine. And someone at a dance rehearsal would be like, oh, I missed class. Can you teach me the steps? And I was like, I didn't really know it as well as I thought I knew it. And so one of the most important things is grabbing and passing. So how quickly can you grab something and then pass it on? You can teach it, replicate it, share it as quickly as possible. And so a big part of that learning and growing, but really where that stems into play is the difference in implementation really revolves around one word. And I've noticed as I've trained this concept around the world, there isn't a direct translation of this word even into languages like Spanish and Japanese. And I'm still trying to find out the best way to articulate it. But in the here, we call it one of our favorite words, which is accountability. And accountability, to be accountable to what it is that you say that you're going to do. And one of my favorite books that really kind of talks about this, and I think a little bit different light, is one of my favorite books is a book called Achievement, right? So, and in this book called Achievement, it's talking about the proven system for next level growth by David Bird and Mark Smith. And in David Bird's book, chapter 4, he talks about the choice of accountability. And I want to read this to you, or just a small portion of this, because I don't know if you guys remember Secret, the 7 steps. Number 6 is to read. So I'm getting my reading in today, and I'm getting my training in today. So double whammy. But when it talks about managing the choice of accountability, this is one of those things that if you want to really kind of up your game or change the things that you hear into things that you implement, this is one of the big kahunas. And I know that it's a big one for me. Anytime I'm really taking on the choice of accountability, man, big things start happening in my world. When I'm avoiding accountability or avoiding that responsibility, usually that's when I'm finding myself stagnant or in a decline. So I'll read you guys a little bit of this now. For a warning, reading, not my strong suit. So wish me luck. All of us stand at the crossroads of thousands of daily choices, but one of the most effective choices you will ever make regarding achievement is the choice of accountability. The choice of accountability is the third of the big three in the choices that he says in this book, which are attitude, action, and accountability. The life choices that form the foundation of achievement. Most people cringe whenever they hear the word accountability or it's used. It reminds us of a time when we had something that we did not want to do, or a time when we had to report to someone we did not respect. But this is not the context of our discussion of accountability. Accountability is a motivational force. From this point on, I want you to think of accountability as a motivational force that will push you beyond your self-imposed limitations. I'll read that again. From this point, I want you to think of accountability as a motivational force that will push you beyond your self-imposed limitations. And that is a good thing. Right. Achievement is about moving to the next level of life, about doing things that you never dreamed possible. To achieve, you must change, and change is adverse to our basic human instinct. This means that you must use all of your creative gifts of imagination, intuition, and choice to counterbalance the instinctive responses to change. Your human instincts were designed and built into your mental makeup specifically to keep you safe. If accomplished its objective it accomplishes its objective by encouraging you to seek a comfort zone where nothing ever changes. Psychologically, your brain instinctively views growth and change as a threat and immediately encourages you to retreat to more comfortable activities. This is why unproductive habits are so difficult to change. It is also why mediocrity is the norm and achievement is the exception. It is important to seek an outside perspective to bring about the kind of change you need for sustainable achievement and growth. This perspective can come from a mentor or group of people with like-minded interests to whom you choose to be accountable for your goals. The choice of accountability is usually the most significant choice anyone can make regarding their future achievement. And just kind of put this in perspective, when you look at different groups and different people, whether it be anything from Weight Watchers to Alcoholics Anonymous to any of the programs that have been around for quite a long period of time in any area, whether it be business or unrelated, it's this choice. And a choosing to be accountable towards something that is uncomfortable or that stretches you or pushes you is really what this is when you get outside and you have a circle of people that you care about, that you love and respect, that you're going to have them hold you to a higher level or a higher standard. This is really when life changes, because that's it. It's very simple. You want to change your life? Change your standards. That's it. Raise them. That's it. So how accountability works. In making the choice of accountability is important to understand the mechanics of how and why it works. You remember the simple formula for achievement: doing the right things consistently over a sustained period of time. To make your choice of accountability more effective, you must identify the right things. We will call these key performance indicators, or KPIs. At every level of achievement, there are always certain activities that must be consistently performed for achievement to take place. Looking at the history of previous achievers is a good place to start. The next step in making the choice of accountability is finding someone who has achieved at the level at which you aspire. Once you learn the right things to do from that person, you will need to discover the level of activity required to reaching your goal within the time frame of your target date. The standard level of activity, as you know, is your benchmark. So what your benchmark really is going, okay, if I want to be successful in my business, if I want to be successful in Seacret, I need to be doing a certain number of activity. Now, what are the activities we do in Seacret? Well, we introduce people to Seacret and we present Seacret. We share information with them. So what is the level of that needs to be happening on a consistent basis that I need to be targeting as kind of my key performance indicator? That's why we put together these Seacret 7. But outside of that is, what is it that I need to be doing on a regular basis? Now that we understand that, let's define achievement more effectively. Achievement is performing all the required KPIs at benchmark consistently over a sustained period of time. So what we want to do is remove the mysticism from success of going, okay, find people who have achieved at the level you want to achieve, find out what are the activities that they did to do it, and what did they have to do, and measure that consistently, and make that be accountable to doing that on a consistent basis. I mean, it just makes sense. That's why they say, find people have the results that you want, go figure out what they did, do what they did, and likely you can get where they are. This is how you achieve. You choose to be accountable to your desired level of KPIs or key performance indicators. That is the key to your effectiveness. So the 3 parts of accountability. There are 3 parts of accountability, and you can write these 3 things down. 3 parts to accountability that seem to hold true. The following describes these parts. Number 1, make a commitment. When you are striving to achieve, commitment takes on a whole different meaning. I have seen more commitments broken than commitments kept. They seem to be the average behavior within our society. High achievers, however, act differently. They develop what I call a winning behavior, and the foundation for winning behavior is keeping commitments. It is evident by their habit of always doing what they say they're going to do. When you choose to be accountable to your goals, you must A, make a commitment to perform the KPIs at the level you can perform, and B, report on that performance weekly to a mentor or a like-minded group of people. Wonder what we got going on over here, right? So now, what does that mean? Is perform the KPIs at a level you can perform. Let's say, for an example, we said, look, if you want to go earn $100,000 a year, you need to make 10 connections a day. That's what you need to be doing. You need to make 10 connections a day. And you're going, well, I don't know if I can make 10 connections a day, but I can do 4. Great, let's start at 4. And I would rather you set the goal of doing 4 and do 5 than set the goal of doing 10 and do 5. You're actually doing the same amount of connections, but to your brain, it's different. One is I have failed. The other is I did what I said I was going to do. So this isn't about necessarily performing at peak level yet. It's about finding out where you are and getting yourself to that point. Just like if you say, look, my end goal is I want to bench press 225. I want to bench press 225 pounds. It doesn't mean you're going to start there. You might start at 135 and do that until that becomes easier, and you're going to work your way up to a different benchmark or a different weight in order to get to that end result or that end goal. But one of the things it's talking about is report on that performance weekly to a mentor or a group of like-minded people. This is where people don't like it. They don't like it. They don't want to report. We don't want to do it. I know. I don't want to do it either, right? So, but when you can really get out of your own way here a little bit and put yourself out there in a level of commitment, especially to a group of people that is important to you, that you want to make sure that they know that you're following through with your commitments. And this is one of the things they say is when you are going to stop smoking, they say, tell everybody that you know, so that way they know that this is a commitment that you have, so they can hold you accountable to it. If you see me, I am not a smoker anymore. I am not. So that way they can be a part of it and hold you that commitment. It's easy to make a commitment to yourself and then back out of that commitment when nobody knows about it, right? Your objective. So, so performing a benchmark, the most important thing is to do what you say you're going to do. Okay. The objective here is to do what you say you're going to do and consistently increase your performance. So number 1 is to make the commitment. All right. I have used this affirmation for years regarding commitment. A commitment made is a debt unpaid until delivered. A commitment made is a debt unpaid until delivered. Some people make commitments when they decide if some people make commitments and then decide if they're going to follow through. For me, commitment made is like owing money, and I have signed the note. I can't counterfeit on that commitment any more than I can counterfeit on borrowed money. Doing what you say you're going to do is the most important winning behavior you will ever develop. And the choice of accountability helps you develop that behavior. So choosing accountability, it's not about having somebody watching over you. It's not about having somebody that you report to. It's about developing the behavior of I do what I say I'm going to do. And that's really when integrity starts to match with what you say and what you do. And when you do what you say and you do what you say and you do what you say and you do what you say, this really impacts the goal setting process, because for most people, when you say something, you don't do it. You say something, you don't do it. You say something, you don't do it. When you say, I'm going to go diamond, I'm going to go silver, your brain is like BS, because there isn't the connection of these strong connections of every time saying, when I say it, I do it. When I say it, I do it. When I say it, I do it. And when you start developing that on a small level, even if it's just, I'm going to do my 2 today. I'm going to do 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 2 today. And then you do it and you do it and you do it. The next time you say, I'm going to do 4, your brain goes, yeah, you can do that, because you're developing, like, as I like to say, make sure that the tongue in your mouth matches the one in your shoes. So that you're following your, they say talk is cheap. And that's, I don't agree with that. I don't think talk is cheap. I think people have cheapened their talk. And what I mean is that they aren't following through with a lot of things that they say. And gosh knows, I am guilty of this in so many different areas of my life. But when I see things really working in my life the best is when I'm following through with my commitments, the small and the big, and I'm holding myself accountable to those commitments. Number 2, second part, building confidence in your untapped potential. So the first is to make a commitment. Number 2, developing confidence in your untapped potential. Most people do not develop in grand leaps. Occasionally you will see a top achiever rise to the top quickly, but in my experience, most of us grow in small increments. The reality of achievement is that it does not matter how small the step is, as long as you take those steps consistently and those steps continue to increase. It is an old grow or decline theory. You must make a commitment to grow consistently and never settle into a no growth pattern. Consistent growth requires confidence, and confidence only comes from the experience of successful attempts. There's no better place to experience successful attempts than in the choice of accountability. When you choose accountability, you must make a commitment to do what you say you're going to do and report on that to an outside partner on a weekly basis. During this process, you will experience success and failure. It becomes a weekly proving ground for your commitment. As you learn from this week's choice of accountability, you'll begin to notice that you are doing things that you never thought possible. With time, you begin to understand this truth. You possess an unlimited amount of untapped potential. It's pretty cool. When you become aware of this untapped potential, you begin to develop confidence in your potential. You become aware that no matter how challenging the future may be, you have untapped potential to successfully deal with it, with anything that comes your way. It is difficult, if not impossible, to develop this confidence in your untapped potential without choosing to be accountable to your goals and learning to make a commitment. Number 3. Now, this is the third step of accountability. Last, and wrap it up. Understanding that accountability is a choice. Accountability is a mature choice. Some say that accountability is a sign of weakness. These people try to achieve in private with a false sense of independence and pride. They may reason, I only need me. I can count on myself better than anyone. And this is not about counting on somebody else. It's about having somebody else that you are holding yourself committed to achieving what you say. It's not what they say, which I'll talk about. I've known only a few people who can do this on their own, and I would never recommend it. For all next level achievers and next steps I've made in my life, accountability has played a major role. Most of us need outside perspective of accountability to grow, and in most cases, no one can make that choice for you. Forced accountability will produce only temporary results. choosing accountability as an effective choice because you cannot hide from your comfort zones. Accountability pushes you past those self-imposed limitations and into a lifestyle of achievement and growth, which is what you want. Why we're reading this book, right? When you step forward with the choice of accountability, you are saying yes to achievement and growth. So, David Bird, I had a chance to spend a lot of time with and get a lot of personal coaching with because he was the president of LMI, Leadership Management Institute. And he got all of his training from the billionaire Paul J. Meyer, who I also had a chance to spend time on his ranch in Salado, Texas, quite a few times at some of his leadership retreats. And he put together an incredible planning method, planning system, which is incredible. But this choice of accountability is one of the, it's a really powerful one. And I want us to think about this is in a little bit different context as well of just this is choosing to be accountable and choosing to have a workout partner has nothing to do with the person and what their goals are. It's all about you, but it's getting outside of yourself and making that choice to be accountable. Now, don't do it because of what it is that the person is expecting you to do or wants you to do. So the book is called Achievement by David Bird. Achievement by David Bird. And his last name is spelled B-Y-R-D. I think you can find it on his website. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon or something. It's a pretty old book. I've had it for a long time. So I don't remember how long I've had it. But it's a short, sweet, and to the point. He also has an incredible book called The Tripping Point. Overcoming organizational apathy and leadership. So the tripping point, not tipping, tripping, like I'm tripping. So when it comes to the choice of accountability, and you can hold yourself accountable to so many different things. And starting on a small level, generally speaking, what I've noticed is some of my pitfalls in this area. I really have had a challenge. I've really had an issue with over committing myself or under committing myself. It's usually one or the other. I'm usually like accountable to everything. And I've set these big, massive amounts of activities that sometimes they are usually obtainable, but they're not sustainable for me. And this may not be your challenge, but I definitely know it's mine. I'll just kind of give you some tips that have helped me on the way of choosing this. Is going, all right, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold myself accountable to this. I'm going to hold myself accountable to this and then this and this and this and this. And I give myself kind of this kind of overwhelming amount of stuff to do. And I'm great at it for like a short period of time. And then what I'm finding myself is not following through with those commitments or kind of letting them slide. And then it seems to be kind of an all or nothing. And I don't know if anyone's ever done this, especially a good thing to relate it to would be like a diet or like trying to change a behavior in eating, right? Where it's like, I am going to eat only fantastic food. I'm going to eat everything exactly as on the plan. I'm only going to eat the set amount of this or that or this or that. And then it's kind of like in the morning, you know, you have a bagel and you're like, well, today's shot, might as well start over tomorrow. It's like we throw the whole day away because of one slight error in judgment or letting go of one. So it's kind of like an all or nothing approach. And what I ask you guys to do is give yourself a little bit of patience for some of you that are just starting this process and just getting into the process of setting accountability. And one of the easiest places to start is to find a workout partner. Find somebody that you can connect with, that you can have as a workout partner. Now, that's going to be a subject for tomorrow, is workout partners. What is a workout partner? How do I find one? What do they look like? How can I be a good workout partner, right? How can I connect with different people? So I definitely would highly recommend having one. And one of the most important parts of having a quality workout partner is both of you managing your choice of accountability. Now, this group is a great place to hold yourself accountable, and a great way to hold yourself accountability is just declare it. So go into your Sea Life Nation group, go into the team group and be like, listen, I heard that training and I'm going to take some action. I'm going to be accountable this week to do this. So I am choosing to be held accountable this week to do this. Now, here's the easy part of accountability: declaration. Here's the challenging part of accountability: follow-up. And what I mean is saying, I'm going to do this, but then coming back next week and saying, I said I was going to do this. Here's what I did. And now here's what I want to be held accountable for again this next week. That's when things start getting interesting, because you have to be confronted with what you did or what you didn't do. So we're going to talk about workout partners tomorrow. I think it's going to be fun. And I also just wanted to say to Ruth and Trish, I don't even know if the truth are on here. Awesome. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done. I'm so excited for the success happening inside of this organization. It's amazing because I feel like the kind of the team elite and some of the business that I've been building has been adopted into attraction marketing and all the things you're doing. And I'm just so grateful. I'm going to be doing a lot more in the social networking professional side of just trying to do my best to add as much value. I know many of you guys are bringing people into that organization, and I want to add kind of some of my spin, some of my flavor on there. But I'm excited to be an example of a network marketer who built for so long with kind of some of the foundational things that all of us grew up with in network marketing, created success, found myself kind of stuck, and then pivoting into where we're building today, which is in this online and marketing space. So I'm going to be going live today, and this is going to be my subject inside of the group. So if you enjoyed this subject of kind of accountability, workout partners, I'm going to be going live here on Wednesdays inside of the social networking professionals group. I'm trying to do my best to add more value to all the people that we're adding into that group. And I think if the more that we do that, the more they're going to want to come play with us here in the mud with Seacret. So Trish, thank you so much. And anything
Thank you
before we're out today?
No, well, so definitely thank you. And I love this, Jesse, because I feel like truly, this is such an important piece of building. You have to have that accountability piece. You have to know what you're working for. But just surrounding yourself with the like-minded people and adding value like you just did with this training, like all these things are just things that help keep you really on task, really focused as to what you're doing. So thank you for doing that. And I just wanted to add here too, there were a couple questions over here from what you did. Where was it? Whitney said she agrees with all of this. Commitment is very important to me. But what happens when you find a different path that is better for you at a specific time in your life?
It's a great question. Without really knowing the context of the question, without getting myself in trouble, because I feel like I could get set up here, and what I mean by that is this: I was committed to this guy, and now I'm not anymore. I'm committed to this other guy. No, I'm just kidding. Jesse said we should get divorced. No, but really what I mean by that is when you're talking about a commitment, I like how Tony Robbins says, be committed to the outcome, but not necessarily the strategy. Strategies will change, but the outcome is usually the same. So if this is the attempt of where it is that I'm attempting to get to, so the end result of what I've always been looking to create in my business in my life, it's required me to pivot, and required me to do some different things that haven't always generally worked. But the end result of what I was looking for was always the same. But at the same time, that may change too. And that's a decision and that's a choice and really it's getting clarity about what you want. And sometimes there were things I wanted in my early 20s. They're not the same things that I'm committed to having. And just because you committed to something 5 years ago, 10 years ago, doesn't mean necessarily that you're the same person as exactly what you want. So guess what? We get to choose. So choosing accountability is no different than choosing your goals. So I would say don't let your goals or your direction or what you're looking to achieve be set by somebody you're not anymore, number one. Number two, don't let it be set by somebody else. And a lot of times the things in our lives that we're setting, a lot of us set those based on maybe what our parents wanted or what other people in our lives wanted, or maybe what our support team wanted. So usually people I find have much less resistance towards traveling the path if it's something that they're consciously choosing, not that was a choice that they may not be making now. So clarity on the choice and then clarity on the direction, although the strategy can change. So if this is what you want, you go after it with whatever you got. And if that doesn't work, what do? Change your approach. And if that doesn't work, what do? You change your approach. Well, and if that doesn't work, what do? You you change your approach. Well, if that doesn't work, what do? You change your approach. So in other words, what the activities, the direction, and holding yourself accountable towards going the activities. I don't know if that helped. Could be a swing and a miss, but maybe, but great question. So.
All right. I think that was it. I think those were the only question. Oh, just the name of the book again. It was Accountability. Who was it by, Jesse?
David Bird. David Bird, B-Y-R-D.
Yeah.
B-Y-R-D. And you can find it on Amazon, I'm pretty sure. So David Bird, it's a short book. Definitely, if you're going to buy one of his books, recommend picking up two. Pick up his book, The Tripping Point. This book actually reminded me of the fact that we need to talk about that as well. So I will, so 10 o'clock, I'm going to be going live in SMPs, basically doing about the same training. So that way we can start talking to that group about the power of accountability. And we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to talk about workout partners.
Thanks, Jesse.
Bye, guys.